Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the questions that I've been getting for my weight loss journey this time around. I have just been getting like a ton of questions asking what I'm doing differently and people wanting me to explain things a little bit more. For those of you that weren't here for the first time when I had documented my weight, well, I can't talk. For those of you that weren't here first time when I documented my weight loss journey, I just kind of wanted to talk about a few questions that I've been getting. So I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me any questions that you had, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So I have 5 questions here. If there is anything in this video that I did not cover, post it in the comments box below and I can do a part 2 to this questionnaire Q&A thing and clear up any other questions that you guys have. But the first question that I got was, what are you doing for exercise this time around and how many steps do you get in a day? So I posted my Fitbit account for you guys on my Instagram, but if you want to follow me on there, I'll also post it below. It's just, you can search for me from the email that I signed up with. It's hannahs12bananas@gmail.com. It's a really old email, just like, don't judge. But it's just the one that I have set up on there. So if you want to follow me, just find me on there and then I will add you as a friend and you can kind of see what I'm up to. But I do get 10,000 steps, I would say like 99% of the time. There are some days where I'm just like, screw it, like I don't want to walk anymore. And those are usually the days where I'm really sore or tired from the gym. So I kind of went back and forth on like what I wanted to do for exercise. I had been like running and trying to get my 5K time down, but I was looking through like old photos of myself, and there was a time last summer, probably exactly a year ago, where I was weightlifting really consistently. And I remember I was going through body dysmorphia really bad at this time, and I was really upset because I had gained like 10 pounds. When I look back through my photos, which I'll post them here for you, on the left you're going to see the one where I was at my lowest weight, and then the one where I was at 128 pounds when I was weightlifting really consistently. I personally think that I look so much better when I was lifting weights consistently. I look much more toned and I just really like the shape of my body better. And I think it was really the body dysmorphia that was getting to me, and just the fact that like I had gained weight and I was upset about it. So I don't really have like a goal weight. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and see where it gets me. So I have added weight training back into my lifestyle, which I quit doing. I don't even know why. I think I like convinced myself that I hated it, or I remember when I was doing it last summer, I was really hard on myself about it and consistent about it, and like trying to just setting unrealistic goals, which kind of made me really hate the whole process. So this time I'm being really relaxed about it. I did leg day 4 days ago now, and I legit could not walk for 2 days. Like, it was so painful to get up and down this ladder, to go into my loft. It was just so hard to move, and I was like, wow, I really got weak. So I definitely think that I've lost like all the muscle that I gained from consistently weightlifting. So I'm going to be getting back into that, and I'll be showing you guys my routines and all of that kind of stuff as well. So basically, the short version of that, I will be weightlifting probably 2 to 4 times per week, depending on how long it takes me to kind of get out of the extreme soreness phase where I can actually like work out more than once a week. I'll be doing yoga every morning like I always do, and then I will be getting 10,000 steps every day. The next question that I got, that I've just been getting a lot, is why are you counting calories this time? I've always heard that it's a bad thing in the vegan movement to count calories. So the whole thing with counting calories is, I don't look at it in a restrictive way. I've never had an eating disorder. I have had really messed up patterns with eating, like back when I was like way back before I was vegan, and I was like binging on junk food and drinking a bunch of alcohol. But I don't really have like a restrictive mindset with food, and my counting calories is really relaxed. And I don't think of counting calories as a bad thing whatsoever. I think of it more as a way to be conscious of what I'm eating and to figure out like how much fat I'm eating and that kind of stuff, and not really to restrict myself. So it's been a week now, actually 8 days that I've been doing this, back on track eating low-fat whole plant foods. And I had days where I ate 2,000 calories, I had days where I ate 1,800 calories, I had days where I ate 1,400 calories. Like, it really just depended on how hungry I was that day. And there were days where I had zero deficit, like absolutely none. And then there were days where I had 700 calorie deficit for that day, just because I truly believe in intuitive eating. And yes, you can intuitively eat and still count calories, just to be conscious of where you're at and not use it as something bad. Like, nothing is good or bad. Counting calories using chronometer can be very useful to people who are losing weight, especially if you are doing it in a very positive mindset way, where you're like, this is gonna take me a long time, I'm gonna have a small deficit, but I just wanna see where I'm at every day and keep myself accountable, and I'm in this for the long haul. If you think of it in that way, that it's more of a lifestyle and like you just kind of wanna be conscious of what you're doing, I don't think that is a bad thing at all. If you set your calorie goal to like 500 or 800 calories and you're trying to drop like 15 pounds a month, definitely not going to be a very positive thing for you, and could 100% lead you to an eating disorder, to all kinds of destructive patterns, and just a very messed up mindset. So it really depends where you're at mentally. I would not tell anyone who has had a past of eating disorders or restrictive activity to count calories. I don't think that is a good idea. For me, setting a 500 calorie deficit, I only did that because I know that it's not very restrictive. I can still eat just as much as I want. I have found over the last week that I am really full on the amount of food that I've been eating, so it hasn't been like I am not going hungry, you guys, don't worry. If I'm hungry, I will eat more, and I'll just be like, you know, today I didn't have any deficit, I don't really care. You know, usually I find when I'm hungrier one day, I am less hungry the next day, and that's just how it works out for me. And it's not a destructive thinking like, oh, I screwed up, I'm a failure at this, I'm just gonna binge. I don't really binge. I don't really have that mentality anymore. I have in the past. But I feel like I'm at a really good place taking care of myself and just in my life to be able to consciously keep track of my food and not have it cause a problem. So the next question that I have is, will I be posting weigh-ins? I'm gonna be posting them every 2 weeks, just because I don't like weighing myself that much, and I like to focus more on like how I feel and my progress in the gym and like how my clothes are fitting. But I am going to be updating you guys on my weight. So for people that have like a really destructive mentality over weighing themselves, the thing that has helped me a lot just over time is weighing myself less frequently, but taking a 3-day average of my weight, because so much can change with your body weight depending on how much salt you eat, how much food you have in your stomach from the day before, or how much you ate the day before, how much glycogen stores you have. All these types of things can make your weight fluctuate a lot. So if you weigh yourself once a week and maybe like you haven't lost any weight and you start freaking out, it can be a really negative thing. But for example, how I'm gonna weigh myself for this series is I'll weigh myself every 2 weeks. So the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th day, I will weigh myself all 3 of those days and then take an average of that weight, because I feel like that is the most accurate way to weigh yourself. It could fluctuate like 3 pounds every day. So if you have problems weighing yourself, or you don't like doing it, and it kind of is a destructive thing that really slows your progress or just totally halts you or makes you binge, try and do it less frequently, maybe even once a month. Like personally, I would like to do it once a month, but for the sake of showing you guys what's going on, I decided on every 2 weeks. So maybe weigh yourself once a month and do it 3 days in a row, and then take an average. And do that when you start as well. Don't just take the first day, because usually the first day your weight is like when you have been like eating like shit and you're like, I'm starting my new weight loss program tomorrow, so you know, it doesn't matter. And then you weigh like 8 pounds more in the first week, you lose 10 pounds, and all of it's food weight and just salt and like just tons of water from eating processed foods or overeating. So when you start, take your weight on 3 different days, and when you weigh yourself the second time, take your weight on 3 different days and take the average. It's the best way that you can weigh yourself and keeping your sanity. The next question is, how did I come to the number of 1,800 calories in a day? I just base that off of my activity. So I have a Fitbit that tells me everything, like all the calories that I burn in a day with my steps, with my weight training, with my yoga, with all the movement that I have. And I highly recommend getting an activity tracker. You don't have to get a Fitbit. Like there's Apple Watches, there's Garmin watches. There's also apps that you can get on your phone. If you take your phone with you everywhere, You can get an activity tracker that will just run in the background and track your activity for the day, instead of spending like $300 on a watch. So on average, I burn about 2,200 calories per day with my weightlifting, with my yoga, and with all the walking that I do. And if I'm shooting for a 500 calorie deficit, I would eat roughly 1,800 calories every day. So like I said before, that doesn't mean that I eat 1,800 calories every day. Like some days I eat less, some days I eat more, and it all evens out. My total calories for last week, the deficit was 3,700 calories. So I know that my deficits are averaging at least 500 calories per day. I would never tell anyone or recommend going over a 500 calorie deficit unless you have a lot of weight to lose and you are, like, say 100 pounds overweight, because your body has so much stored fat to feed off of that it's a lot easier to actually eat less. But when you're getting to like the last 20 pounds, you do not want to have more than a 500 calorie deficit. It's going to put so much stress on your body. It's going to put a lot of stress on your mind. It's going to make you obsessed with food and crazy. And the biggest thing that I can tell you is, if you are not very active, get more active, because the more activity that you have, the more you're working your muscles, you're pumping your lymphatic system, you are improving your cardiovascular fitness and just your overall health. I highly recommend taking at least 10,000 steps a day. If you can do more, then do more. But for me, like having a very sedentary job, I have to actually like push myself to get 10,000 steps a day. So if you are trying to lose weight and you are very inactive, try any way to get active. Try any way to get more steps into your day. If you have breaks at work, go walk around the building or go walk outside. I always tell people to take walking lunch breaks. Like, go for an hour walk on your lunch break. It's nice pretty much everywhere in the United States right now. You can go outside, you can walk to a place outside your work and eat lunch, or you can walk around the building on every break that you have. Take the long way, take the stairs every day, park in the back of the parking lot, take 10 to 15 minute little chunks out of your day. In the morning, when you get home from work, when you're at work, before bed, like after every meal, to just go walk 1,000 steps. And it will be so easy for you to get 10,000 steps in a day. You just have to make it a conscious effort. The last question that I've been getting a lot is, what does 10 to 15% fat look like in a day? For me, that looks like having, you know, half of an avocado a day, or having 2 tablespoons of tahini butter or some type of nut butter a day. If you want to do like a shorthand version of it to figure out how many calories you need, just take the amount of calories that you plan on eating in a day and multiply it by 10 or 15%, and that will give you the amount of calories that you can consume from fat in a day. But you also have to remember, like, if you're eating avocados and you're eating nuts and seeds, those still have carbs in them and they still have protein in them, so they're not 100% from fat. So what helps me a lot is just using Chronometer and figuring it out that way, because it's really simple. It just tracks everything for you. Then you have your macros, you know how much protein you're getting, you know how much of everything that you're getting in a day, and I find it very simple. So those are the most frequent questions that I've been getting. Like I said, if you guys have any more that you want me to talk about in another Q&A, put them in the comments box below and I will answer them for you guys. Have a great week, and I will see you very soon.